I stood at the edge of the fog-shrouded moor, my top hat clutched in hand, as I surveyed the scene before me. The once majestic St. Mina's Cathedral lay shrouded in an impenetrable veil of mist and shadows, its spires reaching like skeletal fingers towards the gray sky. And then I saw it, a boiler the size of a cathedral with copper-plated walls as high as our highest tower. My eyes narrowed. This was not the work of any local blacksmith or engineer. It stank of dark sorcery. I lit my cigar and stepped forward, boots squelching in the damp earth. The boiler's door creaked open like a maw, exhaling a noxious cloud that made my stomach churn. What unholy abomination was this? "It cannot be contained," Dr. Helios Blackstone whispered, his voice trembling as he handed me a leather-bound book and gestured towards the steam pipe latticework. "I'll be damned," I muttered, eyes scanning the diagrams. "A golem factory. This is madness." "Ah. But it's not just any design, my dear friend," Dr. Blackstone explained, his eyes darting between mine and the book as if hoping to convey some unspoken warning. I grasped his arm. What secrets lie within those walls? The good doctor whispered, The Countess of Carmine. He paused, sweat glistening on his brow. "Is awakened." "Awakened?" I repeated, incredulity twisting my face. Blackstone's gaze flickered between mine and the open door. He spoke in hushed tones. "The cursed machine houses her, encased within 1,000 gears and other accoutrements." His voice dwindled to a mere whisper. "I fear it may be too late. I cannot leave." A gilded, mechanical throat cleared from the depths of that boiler. Dr. Blackstone's eyes grew wide as he backed away. I stood frozen, until her gaze pierced me like ice. "Countess Carmine," a voice echoed within, dripping honeyed venom. "And who might you be?" I forced my legs to move towards her, but they felt rooted in fear. "A humble engineer, intrigued by the clockwork beauty within." The words dripped poison as she stepped into the flickering gas lamp light. The fog crept closer, tendrils wrapping around ankles and knees like grasping fingers. "Ah, a patron of science," she purred. I had hoped for one so refined. My mind reeled. This Countess Carmine, imprisoned in steam-coiled torture, was no mere machine. Yet the gears, cogs, and hisses spoke otherwise. And now I realized our conversation was being monitored. "A curious engineer?" she repeated, her voice an undertone of malevolent curiosity. "You'd think the reclusive Dr. Blackstone would know better than to invite such a guest." As the boiler's door creaked shut behind us, like a coffin lid descending, I knew I had stumbled into something far darker than any mortal could comprehend. The air was heavy with steam and the weight of secrets. Countess Carmine's mechanical beauty gazed at me, her eyes aglow like lanterns in a crypt. "You see, I have certain interests," she hissed, voice weaving between seduction and menace, as Dr. Blackstone retreated towards the shadows, his eyes fixed on me with an unspoken warning. "Don't get too close." And I require someone to assist my reacquaintance with this modern world. Fog tendrils curled around our ankles like grasping fingers. "Assist." The word echoed through the chamber. "I believe we have a mutual benefit, engineer. You see," the gears within her chest cavity whirred as she stepped closer, steam misting in the cold air. "Your skills are indispensable." Countess Carmine's gaze crawled up my legs like ice-cold fingers. Are you not here to discuss my re-entry into society?" She interrupted with a smile that could charm the devil himself. This city is no place for an innocent, I assure you." The darkness within her pupils seemed to pulse, as if some ancient power slumbered beneath. "And what of the doctor?" Dr. Blackstone's eyes flared red in the dim light. He whispered, his voice a threadbare whisper. "The machine can't contain, cannot hold, His gaze darted between us, madness creeping into those once ascendant eyes. Longer. The boiler's walls hummed with malevolent intent as Countess Carmine turned to me. Her mechanical lips curled into an inhuman smile. "Ah, but I see you understand the importance of discretion," she said, a whispered promise. "Your silence will be rewarded." The fog outside seemed to thicken, heavy with foreboding. As our eyes locked, a gust swept through the chamber. Gears within her chest whirred louder, a chorus of mechanical horror. "Doctor!" I shouted towards Blackstone's fleeing form, but he vanished into the shadows. I lunged after Dr. Blackstone, only to find myself grasping nothing but thin air in fog's chill embrace. "Countess?" I ventured into the stillness, as if hoping her name would conjure my missing companion back. Silence replied like a tombstone. The darkness within Carmine's eyes seemed to drink in every detail of this moment. "Your concern is appreciated," she purred, "but we have no time for sentiment." Fog tendrils slid around the boiler as if alive and hungry. "I require your assistance. Help me rejoin society, and together we'll unravel." She paused, a gear whirring ominously within her chest. "The secrets hidden within this cursed city. Secrets. Secrets that made my blood curdle in its veins. Forgive me, Countess." I stammered, trying to back away from the abyssal allure of those mechanical lips. "Forgive." Her gaze pierced, like a razor's edge. "You do not know what it means to forgive." Panic seared my lungs as she advanced. Fog slid around her boots like dark silk. "Let us walk," the Countess whispered, her hand extended toward me, each finger adorned with a small gear. "Like clockwork. And reason." My mind screamed for escape, yet I felt ensnared by an unseen force. As I hesitated, the fog crept closer, tendrils curling around my boots like skeletal fingers. Countess Carmine's hand remained extended, a gear-studded cuff glinting in the dim light. "Ah, engineer," her voice crooned. "Do not resist. We are already bound." Bound? The darkness within her eyes seemed to whisper secrets only she knew. "By clockwork." Her mechanical beauty leaned closer, her scent an unsettling blend of rosewater and smoke. With a sense of detached horror, I felt my hand rise, as if the gears in that accursed boiler had taken control. Our fingers touched. It was as if time itself had slowed to match the ticking rhythm within me. And then Dr. Blackstone's faint whisper echoed through the fog. "Do not." The Countess smiled. "A cold, mechanical thing. Ah, but we have a mutual friend," she whispered, her eyes locking onto mine with an unspoken threat. "Who owes me certain favors." I tore my hand free as if burned. The gears in Carmine's chest whirred faster. A debt of blood. A faint hum grew within the boiler as darkness seeped from its walls like a living thing. "Who?" I demanded, voice trembling with each passing second. Countess Carmine laughed, a mechanical whisper that sent shivers down my spine. "You will soon learn, engineer, if you wish to survive." Survive? The thought froze blood in veins as the darkness around us grew thicker, like a living entity. Dr. Helios Blackstone. What horrors did she speak of? How was I now entangled with the mad doctor and this mechanical monstrosity? And what did she mean by favors? As our eyes locked, fog tendrils slid across my vision like ghostly fingers. "The darkness that binds us," the Countess whispered, her mechanical gaze piercing through mine like a cold, dark blade. Terror clawed its way up my throat as I backed away, boots scraping against the copper walls of this macabre tomb. "What do you want?" A ragged breath escaped me. No reply came from Carmine's metallic lips. Only the steady hiss of steam filled the void. "Favors," she whispered, her voice now a razor-sharp whisper in my ear. I spun around to flee, but it was as if the fog itself had ensnared me. Inertia claimed me. Your help. The boiler door creaked open. I stumbled backward as Carmine slid forward, an unholy beauty among steam and darkness. Is our bond. My gaze locked onto hers. A mirrored reflection of terror within those clockwork eyes. An eternity has passed, she cooed. Time for you to pay the debt, engineer. Dr. Helios Blackstone's words, "It cannot be contained," echoed in my mind like a dirge. And then I saw it, a hidden compartment, locked within the boiler's door. The Countess's mechanical gaze bore into mine as I stumbled backward. I tripped over something, a collection of reminders. She whispered, her voice dripping with malevolent purpose. To seal our fate. I scrambled to my feet, desperate to escape this living nightmare, only to find myself staring at a pile of ancient texts and dusty artifacts, tainted by the scent of graveyards. Countess Carmine's mechanical beauty loomed over me. And they see your guide, she whispered as her gaze fixed upon an aged tome. Your education begins here. My mind reeled. This was no ordinary book, bound in black leather, adorned with cryptic symbols and strange diagrams, and a lock clicked open to reveal the secrets within. The knowledge of the SER's darkest projects. Fog crept closer, suffocating me. And Pastaha. A secret kept from the world, I read aloud, voice trembling as I turned the page. The price of immortality. I felt a presence at my shoulder. Fog tendrils wrapped around me like cold, damp fingers. Ah, you've discovered. Countess Carmine whispered in my ear. A small taste of the world's true nature. As I whirled to face her, I saw Dr. Blackstone crouched beside an ancient diagram on a stone pedestal. Your presence is required. Her gaze had become a churning vortex. The steam pipe latticework hissed and shuddered around us. I stumbled toward the doctor, desperate for answers. The Royal Society's dark projects, he gasped, eyes sunken with an unspoken horror. These texts hold secrets to control. Countess Carmine laughed, a cold, mechanical whisper that shattered my resolve. Ah, but we have other means, she whispered, her gaze dripping malevolent intent as the fog crept closer. A shiver coursed down my spine. I felt trapped in a nightmare from which there was no awakening. Foolish mortal, she cackled, a cold wind that howled through the fog, threatening to consume us. Your debt begins now. As Dr. Blackstone's eyes rolled into his head, he whispered one final time. Don't be late, Countess Carmine finished for him. I scrambled back from the pedestal, boots scraping against stone. Tonight's engraving ceremony. She glided closer, an unholy beauty amidst fog and darkness. We'll seal our bond. A cold sweat trickled down my spine as I stumbled toward the door. The Society's darkest experiments. Dr. Blackstone's final gasp faded into the mist. I flung open the creaking boiler door, only to find a procession of hooded figures gathered outside. Countess Carmine's gaze had become an abyssal void, a chasm without end or bottom. You will not be late, she assured me with her mechanical smile. The fog swirled as if drawn by some unseen force, obscuring the faces beneath those hoods. As I watched Dr. Blackstone's lifeless form slide to the stone floor, the clockwork beauty waits. Countess Carmine's laughter, a cold wind that howled through my mind. And the debt begins tonight. The hooded figures parted, revealing a procession of steam-powered contraptions and an iron-wrought chandelier that hung like a cold, dead eye. Welcome to the engraving ceremony, she whispered in my ear as I stumbled backward. I tripped over Dr. Blackstone's lifeless form. Fog tendrils slid around me like spectral fingers. Countess Carmine's laughter echoed through my mind, a maddening refrain that shattered what remained of my sanity. Engineer, do not forget our bond. The debt begins tonight. As the chandelier creaked to life, casting an eerie glow upon this unholy tableau, I realized I was trapped in a nightmare from which there was no escape. The hooded figures parted. Carmine's gaze drew me toward some unseen fate. I fear it is too late, she whispered, voice dripping with malevolent intent. A chill wind rustled through the fog as Dr. Blackstone's eyes stared back at me. Our bond. And then I saw them, brass-plated contraptions that seemed to writhe like serpents. The chandelier's hissing grew louder. Countess Carmine's mechanical gaze became a cold, dark vortex. My guide, she whispered as the figures closed in. I stumbled toward escape. And witness. Fog crept closer, obscuring everything but her mechanical lips. And then Dr. Blackstone's eyes rolled into his head. The engraving ceremony, I mumbled to myself, horror creeping through my mind like a festering wound. As the darkness seeped from Carmine's face, an inky mist that enveloped me, Countess Carmine laughed, a maddening cacophony. You will attend and record. The hissing chandelier died. Fog tendrils wrapped around ankles and knees like skeletal fingers. And then I saw it. Dr. Blackstone's final words on a parchment. The Royal Society's darkest secrets. I stumbled toward the door, desperate to flee this abyssal scene. A debt begins tonight. As my eyes met Carmine's mechanical beauty, the fog swirled around me like a living entity. I stumbled through the darkness, desperate to escape. My gaze flicked back to her cold, metallic smile as Countess Carmine's laughter faded into the mist. The debt begins tonight. As I tumbled down crumbling steps and into an abyssal silence. And witness, she whispered, voice dripping with malevolent intent. I stumbled through a fog-shrouded courtyard. Its walls loomed above like ancient sentinels of madness. Fog tendrils snaked around my ankles like icy fingers. I gagged on the acrid stench of smoke and death. The dark arts, she hissed, as if some malevolent force had taken control. As the fog congealed into solid mist, forming an impenetrable barrier between me and freedom, Countess Carmine's mechanical gaze bore into mine like a cold black chasm. And our bond. The darkness seeped from her face. Dr. Blackstone's words echoed in my mind like the ticking of some infernal mechanism. I stumbled through the fog-shrouded streets, desperate to lose myself among the city's crowded alleys. And then I saw it, a glinting spire piercing the sky. A beacon calling me back. To seal our fate. As my gaze met Carmine's mechanical beauty once more in the darkness. Tonight, she whispered, voice dripping with malevolent intent. I sprinted along fog-shrouded alleys, desperate to lose myself among the city's crowded streets. The Countess Carmine's mechanical gaze bore into mine like a cold, dark blade. Tonight, as my mind reeled with the implications, Dr. Blackstone had led me straight into the heart of darkness. I stumbled upon a dingy tavern, its patrons shrouded in smoke and shadow. Fog tendrils slid around me like spectral fingers. Ah, the Countess whispered in my ear as I collapsed onto a damp stool. The clockwork beauty's gaze locked onto mine, her voice weaving into the din of clinking glasses and hushed whispers. Our bond grows stronger. A shiver coursed down my spine. Our bond? Madness clawed at the edges of sanity. What do you want? A hoarse whisper escaped me. Countess Carmine's mechanical gaze seemed to burn away what little light remained in this forsaken hellhole. Tonight, her voice whispered, echoing through my mind like a cold, dark dirge. A debt begins tonight. As the fog outside crept closer, wrapping around ankles and knees like skeletal fingers. Our fate. I stumbled upright, desperate to escape. Fate? The word echoed in the tavern's smoky air. And then I saw her, Arabella Beaumont, a beauty ensnared by some eldritch force. Ah, she whispered as our gazes collided. The game begins. As my mind shattered beneath the weight of horrors, we shall play together tonight. Arabella Beaumont's ethereal voice echoed in my mind as I stumbled through the fog-shrouded streets. Dr. Helios Blackstone's words, "It cannot be contained." Our bond grows stronger. As I careened into a crumbling alleyway, desperate for respite from this abyssal world. "You will witness." The darkness seeped from her face. Carmine's mechanical gaze burned away all light. I collapsed onto the damp cobblestones, as if entombed in an early grave. "Fate?" I groaned aloud. "Ah," Arabella whispered, her voice a melancholy waltz. "Your debt begins tonight." As my sanity unraveled beneath the weight of horrors, "We shall play together tonight." In that moment, all lights within me extinguished. Countess Carmine's mechanical lips curled into an unholy smile. I felt myself dragged through fog-shrouded alleys and crumbling towers by unseen hands. "Your bond with Dr. Blackstone," she purred as Arabella's whisper echoed in my mind. "The dark arts." And then I saw it, the copper-plated walls of that cursed boiler looming before me, like a macabre altar. Countess Carmine's mechanical beauty loomed over me. Her voice dripped with malevolent intent. "Ah," she whispered as our gazes locked. "You will soon learn the price of immortality." As my mind shattered beneath the weight of darkness, our debt, the world around me faded into a haze of terror and madness. And then I felt myself ensnared in this abyssal cycle, bound to Countess Carmine by threads of clockwork fate. "Ah," she whispered as her mechanical smile vanished. In that instant, all was lost. The darkness within my soul had taken its toll. I screamed, the sound lost among the fog-shrouded alleys and crumbling towers. Our bond, Countess Carmine's gaze bore into mine like a cold, dark chasm. And then I vanished into the endless veil of darkness. "Farewell," she whispered as her mechanical beauty receded, consumed by an unseen void. The boiler's hissing grew louder. In that moment, madness claimed me. To our fate. As my vision faded to blackness,